you are going to die. Face it. You don't know when. Everybody you love is going to die, and you don't know when. You don't know if you're going to predecease them or not. If you can come out the other side and say, I know I'm going to die, and because of that, I'm going to change how I live my short time that I have on Earth. Welcome to another Deep Dive with Derek. I'm your host, Derek, but you can call me D-Rock. That's what my friends call me. Welcome to another reaction video. If you're new here, I'd like to personally welcome you. On this channel, we take a look at music and poetry and other forms of art through the lens of meaningful living, meaning and valued living. So we're taking a look at things like mindfulness, resilience, personal values, sources of meaning, narratives, mindsets, purpose, all the things that we can use to live a meaningful life, both appreciating the upside of life and learning from and growing from the dark side of life. And if you like what I'm doing here, please go ahead and subscribe. If you've been with me for a while, welcome back. Certainly glad you could make it back. Today we're checking out Ready for You. And this was a heavily requested song, and if I remember correctly, which I might not be, actually I'm confusing myself, so I can't remember if this is from the Freckled Angels album or not. Doesn't matter. I'm here for Ready for You no matter what album it's off of. So I got some lyrics pulled up, and we're going to jump right in. Ready for You.
Standing on these stones, I'll plant these aching bones down. King without a throne now, waves are crashing out. I'm scrolling through my phone, there's no one I can call now. I guess I'm all alone, how did that end up here? Now pull yourself together, boy, reconstruct like Lego toys. These thoughts you have could soon destroy the progress you have made. It's pulling down like gravity, emotion.
Alright, so I do have the lyrics here. I was hopeful there would be lyrics on this video. I do love the animations. So I have aching bones. I'm standing on stones. So he's on the beach, scrolling through his phone, but there's nobody he can call. And how did I get here? So this is the situation many of us feel many times in our life through various, severities, of course. But this is kind of like that. What just happened? How did this happen? Interestingly, the human minds, we're meaning-making creatures. We always want to figure out, why did that just happen? Sometimes during good things, but really when something bad happens, we're always looking around for someone to blame. We're always looking around for an explanation. We're always looking around for what just happened. Even if it's random, even if it's chaos, we are very good at spotting patterns and then assigning those patterns to what just happened. So this is not surprising. What just happened? How did this end up being? He says. And then he sounds like he's talking to himself. Pull yourself together. Put yourself together like Legos. That, to me, sounds like a joke about, maybe joke's too strong, but a meditation on, we're not like deconstructible Legos, and you can just break them and then put them back together and they come back the same. When you introduce the human mind, it changes things. So we're not like Legos, but there is a, you can find people, if you're not finding a way to get your voice heard, if you're not finding an empathetic listener, it can feel like some of the messaging from them is just, get it together. Tough stuff. Tough shit. Pull yourself together. Get to work. It's in the past, right? So that's kind of what I was taking from that. But then here's what I wanted. Here's why I stopped here. These thoughts that you have could soon destroy the progress you have made. That is not true. That's only, well, let me say that. That is only true if you let those thoughts destroy your progress. So thoughts are nothing but thoughts. This is what you learn when you get into a mindfulness practice. You can see thoughts as thoughts. This is true if you are identified with your thoughts, if your thoughts feel like they are a part of you. this is going to be true. Because if you're identified with your thoughts and you can't separate yourself from your thoughts, if you latch on to whatever those thoughts are, you're going to be yanked around, you're going to be pulled around, you're going to be pushed around and bullied by whatever your next thought happens to be. And you've got a lot of thoughts. You've got about 70,000 thoughts a day. So with mindfulness practice, you can learn to see thoughts as thoughts. They're just patterns of energy. And 70,000 thoughts a day, you don't pay attention to all those thoughts. So when he's saying these thoughts could destroy my progress, he's picking among those 70,000 thoughts which thoughts he wants to pay attention to. And then he's going to let those thoughts destroy his progress. Now I'm saying this as if it's almost simple. But it is simple. It's not easy. It takes a lot of practice because the default mode is our subconscious mind does this for us. If you've heard me talk about the elephant and the rider before, which is a metaphor for your mind, the elephant represents the subconscious mind. That is in control, and the elephant latches on to thoughts. Now, especially then, if you go back a couple of lines earlier, how did I get here? Then you come up with a story of how I must have gotten here. And then you ruminate about how that happened, and then now you're down the toilet. So mindfulness practice is seeing your thoughts as thoughts, almost like they're on a stream passing by. They just are patterns of energy. Pay attention to the thought if you want, but you don't have to. You can let it go.
Yourself together, boy. Reconstruct like Lego toys. These thoughts you have could soon destroy the progress you have made. It's pulling down like gravity, emotional brutality. Just know the clock is ticking and then nothing stays the same.
Interesting. Gotta think about that. The clock is ticking and nothing stays the same. Well, this is just a fact. That's time only moves forward. We can get really deep if we want and talk about what is this abstract concept of time. Einstein saying that there's only space-time, there's not space and time. You could think back to this invention of time, which is something that we own, which is kind of silly. It just is. And we decided that we're going to take our time and split it up and then try to be efficient with it. But leaving all that stuff aside, time moves forward. We're always in the present. That present is always moving. So our past life gets bigger and bigger. The future life that we have left gets smaller and smaller. But we're traveling along that continuum in the journey of the present. And it's always changing. Just like if you're driving in a car and you take snapshots of what you see every second, that's going to be a different picture. Now, I don't yet know where he's going to go with that. So the clock's always ticking, nothing stays the same. So what? I'm curious to see what he says about that.
Ticking and then nothing stays the same. I'm back up off the floor, cause I know that I got more in myself around too.
Nice. Good. So this is a motivation. He found some intrinsic motivation. So he's motivated to get going. He got up off the floor, dusted himself off. And then round two. So this is a boxing reference, right? So he fell to the ground. It wasn't a knockout, but he fell to the ground and says, you know what? I got to get up. I found some motivation to do that. Here comes round two. So even though there's emotional brutality, even though he doesn't like this case, he's got nobody to call, he doesn't know how he got there, thoughts are attacking him, negative thoughts are showing up. Despite all that, he gets up off the floor and he's ready to battle for round two.
Off the floor, cause I know that I got more in myself around two. In my boat without an oar, I still find my way to shore in this ocean blue.
In my boat without an oar. So he's directionless. He's got no way to steer where this boat is going. And despite that, he found his way to shore. Now, it's difficult. And again, I don't know yet where this is going. But there's a lot of randomness in our life, both good and bad. And when the bad stuff happens, that's when we look around and say, how did this happen? And then we assign meaning to the randomness. Sometimes it's good, too. Sometimes we get luck. So randomness that works out in our favor, we'd call that luck. And if you've got a boat without an oar floating through the ocean and end up on land, that's pretty lucky. So trying to find a source for gratitude for what just happened, because that could have turned out very differently for him.
I know you feel it, I know you feel it, know you feel it, 'cause I can see it now. And now I'm back up off the floor, 'cause I know that I want more, and I'm ready for you.
I'm ready for you. Is this a love song? I don't think I've heard anything that suggests that yet, except for I'm ready for you.
You've unleashed a sleeping beast, a mythical, biblical creature, a demon that's breathing. You best call a priest, or exorcist. Wretched this boy who reflects in his dark side. I can't find no peace. Belongs in asylums, no man is an island, so I'm a whole planet that speaks. That speaks of the pain that is drumming like rain on my brain, and it's flooding the street.
Okay, I didn't expect that to get fast like that. So you said you again. So you've unleashed a sleeping beast, a demon. So, I'm looking at the lyrics here. Best call a priest or an exorcist, because you've opened up this beast inside of me. Huh. All right, so motivation to get up off the floor, maybe that motivation came from this demon. Maybe it's revenge focused, and that revenge is his motivation. But he can't find peace. In his words, he belongs in an asylum. So no man is an island. Okay, so I'm a whole planet. No man is an island, so I'm a whole planet. I got to think about that line for a second. Anyway, so that's interesting. Twist I didn't expect.
So now me to this
All right, so now he's up on the cross. It's interesting.
cross now. Crucify me, Lord. How am I meant to pray if my hands I lay you down?
Yeah, I can't pray if my hands are tied up or nailed to a cross.
My very own effigy that represents the pain in me. I'm burning it till it's passion, seeking freedom from myself.
Seeking freedom from myself. So there's a part of him then that feels like he's self-destructive. And if you think back through the lens of High Ren, which if you're here, you've probably seen and heard of before, there's those two characters inside of him. And both of them he considers me, right? So if I'm seeking freedom from myself, I'm probably seeking freedom from that darker side of me.
Vibrations move the speaker, music my Mona Lisa. I seek my refuge in a melody, fix me up my dealer. I breathe it like it's ether, I'll drink it by the liter. When half your life is spent with death, you do not fear the reaper.
I like that line. So he doesn't fear the reaper. And he tells us why he doesn't fear the reaper. Half of my life was filled with death, or half of my life was spent thinking about death and being on the verge of death and thinking that I might die soon. And so now, because I'm so used to it, I'm not afraid of it anymore. Now, I propose, and in my work, my professional work, part of my job is to get everybody more comfortable with the idea of death. You've heard me talk about this many times. You are going to die. Face it. You don't know when. Everybody you love is going to die, and you don't know when. You don't know if you're going to predecease them or not. This is uncomfortable, and people go to a lot of lengths to try to avoid this. Religions are born and popular because they tell you that it's not the end. You get to go to heaven. You get to be reborn again. This is very scary for people. But if you can come to terms with it and do like Ren did, and of course he was thrown into this, if you can come out the other side and say, I know I'm going to die, and because of that, I'm going to change how I live my short time that I have on Earth. It can be very freeing, super freeing. And it reminds me of the quote Stephen Hawking. He said, and I love this quote, "I'm not afraid of death, but I'm in no hurry to die." Perfectly sums it up. Not being afraid of death does not mean wishing for it to come sooner. It just means that, yeah, it's going to happen. But I've set up my life in such a way that if it happens, it happens. There's another line that I like from a guy named Dave Matthews. He says, "Every day should be a good day to die." And that reminds me of Morgan Freeman is known for saying, I haven't validated this, he allegedly was riding out his horse, looking up at the clouds and the sky, beautiful day, and saying, "This would be a beautiful day to die." These are the kinds of things that can change your perspective on life. So anyway, that's what Ren is talking about here. He was forced into it, but all of us could benefit from removing the fear of death from
By the liter, when half your life is spent with death, you do not fear the reaper. For the plight of humankind remains the same. The biggest war we ever waged was the war we wage upon our own brains.
That's where I thought he was going to go. The biggest war we have is the war with ourselves, the war we have with our inner demons, the war we have with our inner critic, the war we have with the high-end type competing motivations, the war we have between present you and future you, the war we have with short run and long run. It's all competing motivations within you. That's the biggest war. I mean, that is the biggest tension people feel.
Story is old as time. Duality dwells inside our thoughts. While we yin yang, we will hang on the noose with no support.
So duality, I don't know if he's using it in this way or not, but if you get deep enough into mindfulness practice, there's a couple of ways to think about it. There's duality, there's dual practice, duality versions of mindfulness where it's me, and then there's the rest of the world, and this is separate. There's two. There's me and the world. And I can learn to accept the world as is without judgment and make my decisions based on what has happened and not pay any attention to things that don't need my attention, but being more aware of what's going on non-judgmentally. Now there's non-dual awareness, which is dissolving the illusion of the self. So the self, I have not got there yet. So I'm speaking this because my teachers talk about it. I have not yet experienced this, but there's a lot of folks who say you can dissolve the boundary between self and world, and you are part of the world. So there is no you and the world, there's only the world. There's no thinker and thoughts, there's just thoughts. Right? There's no experiencer and experiences, there's only experiences. So anyway, I don't know if that's where he was going or not, but that reminded me of non-dual mindfulness.
I'm back up off the floor, cause I know that I got more in myself around too. In my boat without an oar, I still find my way to shore in this ocean blue. I know you feel it, I know you feel it, know you feel it, cause I can see it now. And now I'm back up off the floor, cause I know that I got more and I'm ready for you.
Okay, so was that just a dream? Because he's back to where he started. That gives me the impression that it was a dream sequence. Anyway, let me finish this up. Okay, Demos Volume 2. So I was completely wrong. It was not Freckled Angels. So, anyway, to me, first listen, again, I changed my mind a lot as I listened to it second and third and fourth times, and I changed my mind a lot when you all share your experiences with the song. But my first pass through, this felt like a resilience song, comma, where'd that even come from? Kind of. I'm still unclear, and maybe somebody can help me with this. The song is called Ready for You. And he's back up on off the floor because he's ready for you. So I'm still unclear. Again, this is only my first time listening, so Maybe I've missed something. I'm sure I've missed something. But who's the you in here? Is it a godlike, like a spirit? Is it a romantic relationship? It is a parent, a friend? That I'm not quite sure. But what I picked up was that there's a lot of resilience messaging in here, and even post-traumatic growth or anti-fragility, which is things happen and I grow from that. And I'm not even afraid of death. So I'm learning to deal with the battle that's in my own mind. And when the world happens and I'm questioning what just happened, I can pick myself off the floor and keep going. And I'm doing that for you, whoever you is. So I want to hear from you. What did you think about this song? What did I misinterpret? If you like what I'm doing, give this a like. Let me know that this is the kind of thing that you like and want to see more of. And if you're new here and haven't yet subscribed, consider subscribing for more content like this, where we take a look at things through the lens of meaning and valued living. Hey, D-Rock again. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing here. If this kind of thing is interesting to you, and especially if you like those bad drawings at the beginning, you might be interested in my weekly newsletter. It explores money's role in a meaningful life. So you can check that out at meaning.blog if you want. It takes this and it goes a lot deeper. So if you like that, check it out. Let me know what else I should be doing, what else I could be doing, and I'll see you here next time.